All right, welcome everyone back to Black Alumni Week 2020. Tonight we have the NPHC Connect network with Divine Nine alumni, current students, and friends. Thank you all for joining us this week. We've had a wonderful 2 days so far. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Bernard, Ronnie, and Jaron to start us off for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, appreciate that, Ms. Erin. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Divine Nine networking event. I'm filled with joy that each and every one of y'all have taken out the time to participate and provide, wisdom and influence to each and every one of us. So with that being said, let's get started with how this year's exec board is looking.
All right, so first we are going to have Josh come on and give a welcome. Josh serves as our Executive Vice President of the National Pan-Hellenic Council here at Auburn University. So Josh, if you'll unmute yourself and go ahead and start us off.
All right, greetings everybody. My name is Joshua Jones, Executive Vice President for the National Pan-Hellenic Council here at Auburn University. And I'm a Spring 19 initiative of the Kappa Zeta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma. Greetings, alumni. We, the current members of the National Pan-Hellenic Council, welcome you graciously. It is an honor to be in the presence of those in light of the current situation of the world, who not only walk the same path that we do now, but paved it along the way as well. You all work so vigorously to ensure the well-being, reputation, and the continuation of your respective chapters, and our council as a whole, and for that, we are exceedingly grateful. I hope that today you find pride and joy in the current state of your chapters and the council and the progress that we've made since your departures. And that's it for me. Welcome.
All right. So appreciate you, Josh, for that welcome. Let's go on ahead and move towards introducing this year's executive board. So to our left, we have Miss Naja Williams, who is serving as our Vice President of Conduct and Recruitment, as well as our Vice President of Administration. To the right, you just heard from him, Mr. Joshua Jones, who serves as our Executive Vice President, as well as our Vice President of Finance. And I, Ronnie Isaac, am the current NPHC President. So two people that aren't listed here but should be mentioned are Spring 2020 graduates, Jada Walker, who is a member of Delta Sigma Theta and served as the Vice President of Administration for her last semester, as well as John Henry Caponis, who is a member of Omega Psi Phi, and he was filling in the role of Vice President of Conduct and Recruitment. So thank y'all for y'all efforts. Now we're going to talk a little bit about who the Greek life staff is. So first, I'm gonna talk about the staff that isn't pictured here. This includes Mrs. Sue Walker, who is our administrative assistant of the Greek life office. We have Christopher Lucas, who is the assistant director. And then we have Mrs. Lindsay Ollis and Adam Joyner, who are both Greek life coordinators. In the picture, we have Ryan Powell to the left, who is the Greek life director. And we have Bernard Goings, who is the Greek life coordinator for NPHC and MGC. So thank y'all for y'all's help with this current exec board. So now we're gonna dive into how the NPHC community is doing. So we have 5 active organizations right now with a total of 43 members. Of those 43 members, we have 20 members who hold leadership roles throughout the campus, such as Mrs. Livia Coleman, who was the BSU president and represents Delta Sigma Theta, as well as Ada Ruth Huntley, who is the current SGA president. and is a representative of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Some national organizations implemented a moratorium for spring 20 and fall 20 due to COVID, which negatively impacted our current membership, but we're being optimistic and are actively engaged in reactivating Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, as well as Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. I'd also like to note that for spring 2020, we had a council GPA of 3.4, which is the highest in NPHC history here at Auburn. So big congratulations to the council for that semester. So now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments that our council has had this year. So it's with great pleasure to announce that Tiger Stomp 2019 won as the most entertaining campus event. Tiger Stomp serves as our annual step show, which provides an interactive experience that draws the audience into a variety of stories, exciting dance moves, and stunts. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we had to cancel Tiger Stomp 2020, but we are planning and very hopeful on having it either in spring 21 or fall 21. So another accomplishment that I would like to note is the council donating a total of $5,000 to the completion of the NPHC Legacy Plaza. It was very important to, the council as well as the exec board to contribute to this project to show that we are both physically and financially invested in our project. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Interfraternity Council as well as the Pan-Hellenic Council for matching us and also providing a $5,000 donation as well. This shows that, we're a community supported project and, NPHC isn't doing this alone. So it's good to know that, we have the entire Auburn family, behind us to make sure that we get the representation that we would like to have on campus. So now I'd like to talk about some 2019 award winners. So first, I'd like to talk about Chapter President of the Year for 2019-2020, and that's going to Miss Chelsea Holland, who represents the Kappa Upsilon chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. Although this isn't her pictured here, I'd like to say that Brianna Scott, who is in the picture, was the following chapter president and was present for Miss Holland. So congratulations to her and Kappa Upsilon. So next we have our NPHC Member of the Year, which is awarded to Mr. Julius Hammond. He was a fall 2015 initiate of the Omicron Kappa chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and also served as the NPHC president for the 2017 and 2018 year. So congratulations, Mr. Julius. Next, I'd like to highlight the NPHC chapter award winners. And that's going to go to the Kappa Chi chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, as they received the Dwight Daniel Chapter Leadership Award, the Nelson Mandela Greek Unity Award, and achieving the Academic Award of Highest GPA. So congratulations to Kappa Chi. Now, I love talking about awards and whatnot, but I'd also like to highlight some goals that we have for this upcoming year. And then following that, I'd like to talk about some events that we have finishing out this exec board's current year. So some goals that we have, of course, is the reactivation of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, as well as Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. We're always trying to increase minority recruitment, so that's going to be an ongoing goal for us. Something new that we have is the development of an NPHC alumni speaker series. We all thought that it'd be, very great to have constant motivation and inspiration from alumni for the current exec board and, helping them throughout their term. I personally feel it's always good to have additional resources and advice from those who served in our roles in the past. And this allows each exec board to experience that kind of insight. So we're going to start implementing something like that. So alumni, stay tuned for an email. I'd also like to talk about Rolling Through the Plains, which is essentially a NPHC photo lineage. So this is a unique opportunity to look at our NPHC from the past. So I also think this can be, a very resourceful tool to be aware of how the council was ran in the past, and an influential moment for us to recognize some things that we should bring back, or using, old ideas that y'all used in the past and, innovating them to where they kind of fit to today's generation. So with that, any and all pictures that you have where y'all were, doing community service either as an individual, a chapter, or a council, we ask that, you send these pictures to the email nphcpresident@auburn.edu. That way we can kind of like, get a little photo book put together. And that's something that each council, not each council, but each exec board can, look at and potentially come up with some ideas for. So these pictures can range all the way from 1972 when Omega Psi Phi was chartered here up to our present 2020. So I just ask that when you send in your pictures through the email, you provide a description of what's being performed in the picture, the year that this picture was taken, and if you know the names of the members that are in the picture, it'd be great to provide that as well. That way, everybody gets that kind of recognition. So starting this off this year, I feel like this would be something beautiful to look at a year from now. So please send in any and all pictures that you have. So those are our goals. Now I'm going to move into 2 upcoming service projects that the council has prepared. So the first one we have on the left, that's going to be the Tuskegee-Macon County Head Start Pumpkin Decorating Contest. So essentially, what that's going to be is us working, NPHC working with the Head Start and providing families with an opportunity for family time and creative discovery. The participants will be provided general decorations and pumpkins. And on October 24th, the council will be present for a virtual decoration party with the Head Start to make it a fun experience while they're decorating. So students who need additional help or have specific questions with their pumpkins have the option of going into breakout rooms and receiving help from members of the NPHC right now. And then once everybody is comfortable with the process, we return back to the main Zoom page, and then, we continue the virtual Zoom party. So it's a lot of face-to-face time with, the kids who are decorating pumpkins and their families and whatnot, as well as us also enjoying that experience of, being some sort of impact to said community. Afterwards, once all the decorating is over, the council will award. The council will award the top 4 students with a family pizza package. And, like I said, I just felt like that'd be a really good way to kind of stick with the theme of the holidays and get everybody excited about that. On the right side, we have the virtual princess camp, which is an opportunity for our sorority chapters where they participate in a Zoom party as well, of activity books, decorating crowns, dancing, and, even a nice manicure nail set. So this event, is a fun project of reminding the young ladies of their worth and self-love. So the little girls who have the pleasure of participating with our sorority chapters will have a very engaging and unique experience. This is scheduled for October 10th. So the fun is soonly approaching, and I'm looking forward to the great feedback that we get from the girls that are participating in that, as well as the 2 chapters we have that will be assisting them in that. So those are the 2 events. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Jaron Spraggins, who is our fundraising chairman, and he will provide you with an in-depth presentation on the NPHC Legacy Plaza.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well in the midst of this pandemic. Of course, we wanted it to be in person, but we hope this has been a smooth transition and everything has gone smoothly. Again, I'm Jaron Spraggins. I'm a Spring 19 initiate of the Omicron Kappa chapter here at Auburn. And tonight I have the pleasure of discussing and presenting the NPHC Legacy Plaza to you all. So the NPHC Legacy Plaza will just be a beautiful, serene, centrally located space on campus that'll help the piece about inclusion and diversity. As we know, our numbers are trending downward. So we want to use this piece to not only, celebrate the Greek-led organizations, but also use it as a recruiting tool for future students surrounding Auburn and kind of encourage them to attend Auburn University. Why Auburn? As I just mentioned, Auburn's numbers are trending downward, and that's something that we're trying to figure out ways to, recruit better, need-based scholarships and things of that nature. But as far as where the Legacy Plaza will come in, we definitely can see, using this as a recruiting tool, but also educating our current student body as to, what NPHC is, what it means to the African-American community, and how it kind of galvanizes and unifies everyone. And so, future students, they can come by on tours or with their parents at football games, and they can pass this space and see how, beautiful and special and cultivating this whole plot will be. And so we'll have, pictures, later on in the slides. But this is kind of why, we chose Auburn. Other campuses have it. And so we decided to bring this idea to Auburn University and kind of have our own sense of belonging, our own place, own special place that we can have on campus that we can call our own. So, next slide, timeline. Before I get into the timeline, the first date we have is January 2018, but I want to say that the Legacy Plaza was in talks way before that particular date. So I just want to, thank everyone who was a part of it, who discussed it, whoever, talked about the Legacy Plaza before January 2018. Your work really got the ball rolling and allowed us to even get to this point. So we thank you for you all's work beforehand. But officially, January 2018 was when we first started to discuss the NPHC Legacy Plaza. Fast forward to July of last year, the project was tentatively approved by the Board of Trustees as a special fund, which allowed us to fundraise. So we can have money coming in from alumni, current students, whatever the case may be, to help raise the funds for this project. Following that, this past July, the BOT unanimously approved the project and the naming of it, which was obviously great. And we could actually, break ground on this particular project. And then this September, the whole NPHC Council as a whole decided to change the location from the south to the west location. And like I said, you'll see a better visual aid in the coming slides. And so the Legacy Plaza will just celebrate, the past, the present, and the future of this whole community that we know as a Divine Nine, and celebrate the legacy and the accomplishments and the historical background of the whole NPHC, from each org to the whole NPHC as a whole. And there's a lot of history, there's a lot of accomplishments and achievements that Auburn's NPHC has achieved. And so we just want to highlight that and use this space just to celebrate us as a people. So as I mentioned before, this south end is where Parker is currently and where the markers would have been. So this whole side is where Parker is and where the markers would have been. So instead of it being on the south end, we moved it to the west end, which is where those trees are. And there will be 9 trees lined against, and that big building behind it is the ACLC, which is being constructed as we speak. So those 9 trees will just represent each Divine Nine organization. And then as you see, the green space or the elevated amphitheater seating is what people can sit down at or sit down in and look down actually at the markers themselves. So that's kind of why we switched it. We felt like it would be a better view. And also when the sun sets, it'll actually look a little bit better than if it would have been on the south side. The south location. So that's why we switched it. So this is kind of a bird's eye view of this whole space. So you have the 9 trees representing each org. You have the ACLC that's lining up. And you also have the dining hall, which is off to this north side right here. So these are currently being built. And so as a result, we won't have to worry about and wait on the demolition of Parker. We can already break ground and kind of begin the progress of building these markers. And so this is kind of like a bird's eye view of everything. This is just a rotated picture of it. It's more detailed. As I mentioned before, the 9 green circles represent each org. The ACLC is lining up behind those trees. And then the dining facility that they're building will be off to the left. And then, like I said, Parker is on that south edge. And then looking out is the amphitheater with the elevated seating. So a nice space, plenty of space for, cookouts, pictures, videos, step shows, yard shows, whatever the case may be. This space will be a big space, space that you can use for, for family, for whatever the case may be. This will be our space. So some benefits, very interesting benefits. Phase 1 should be completed around fall 2022, and phase 2 should be completed at the latest around spring 2024, as I mentioned before, depending on when they decide to tear down Parker. Interestingly enough, in 2022, as Ronnie mentioned before, we will be celebrating 50 years of when Omega Psi Phi chartered here at Auburn University back in 1972. So we'll be celebrating 50 years in fall of 2022. And then the following year, 2023, we will celebrate 25 years of the entire NPHC being here at Auburn. So with both phases, both dates, we will have something to celebrate. Obviously, holistically, we can celebrate just the project being completed, but those particular time periods, 50 years for Omega Psi Phi being here at Auburn University first, and then 25 years for the entire NPHC being here. So as you can see, the Legacy Plaza will serve as kind of just celebrating the whole legacy, the longevity of the NPHC, and just the whole, from everyone who was there in the beginning from 1972 to now to the future. This is commemorating all of that hard work, all of those blood, sweat, and tears that brought us to this point. And so, like I said, it's something to be proud of, something to be grateful for, and something that we can have and look back and say, I was a part of that. I helped, construct this masterpiece. So looking forward to seeing it being completed. So next thing, next slide. And we're trying to do this. It's not given, it's not confirmed, but we're trying to increase the space between each pillar. It's kind of small in between each pillar, but the reason why we're trying to increase the space in between it is so that way when people are taking pictures, videos, whatever the case may be, people won't be, in someone else's photo or someone else's video. There'll be enough space that people can share the space, take pictures, do whatever, and they're not crammed up next to somebody else's monument. So we're trying to do that. It's not confirmed, but we're trying to increase the space between each pillar. And then off to the left, the big, the 10th marker will commemorate and celebrate and provide a historical context to the whole NPHC. So you'll have the 9 representing each org, but then that 10th marker will celebrate and commemorate the whole Divine 9. So someone that might not know what NPHC is, what it stands for, this marker, the 10th marker, will kind of serve as that purpose. And so imagine, you're coming back to a football game, it's October, and, you have a few kids, you have your line sisters, your line brothers, and you coming back to the NPHC Legacy Plaza. This is kind of what we envision with it being completed. The building that you're looking at straight ahead is the ACLC, as I mentioned before, and the smaller building is the dining facility. And those 9 trees representing each org, the markers will be right in front of those trees. And then the amphitheater, as I said before, with the elevated seating will be kind of panned out like that. So this is kind of what we're envisioning. This is kind of what we're picturing and hoping that, with all our hard work, with all the meetings and things like that, this will be what it will be when it's completed. So this is kind of the feel we're going for, but just, kind of imagine you're coming back to a football game and this is the NPHC Legacy Plaza, that space that we've, worked hard for. This will be the finished product. So hopefully, like I said, everything goes well. Have a few more meetings coming up, but other than that, everything is looking up to par and we will be breaking ground soon. So like I said, thank you all for just coming and for all the people that have come before us, people that's currently in the NPHC. We thank you just for, leading the way, paving the way, graduating, but also coming back and providing feedback, being mentors, the whole 9. We don't take it for granted, and hopefully we can, be in your shoes someday and come back and do the same thing that you all did for us. If you have any questions or inquiries or whatever, you can follow us on, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and like Ronnie mentioned before, you can email that email address with whatever questions you have. And I think that's all I have.
All right, Jaron. Well, I appreciate that. My name is Peyton Alsabrook, and I am the Development Officer for Student Affairs here at Auburn. And I wanted to circle back really quickly to something Josh said that I thought was really impactful. And he said that many of you walk the same path as our students are walking today, but at the same time, you paved it as well, which I think is extremely powerful. And I think that speaks to really what this project is designed to do, and that is to create and celebrate a legacy for all that you have done through the years as part of your NPHC fraternities and sororities. And so that is why I am very excited to play a small part in this project, helping with the fundraising. And tonight, I just want to briefly give you a few updates, talk a little bit about strategy, and then introduce you to a couple of individuals that have already generously given and have been a huge help in getting us off the ground with their fundraising efforts. So to give you a little bit of background, as Jaron mentioned, the ACLC will be right there by the Legacy Plaza, which is great because that is going to help us.
I was going to throw that away, but Daddy.
Which is great in that it will allow us and help us with the landscaping that you saw, the beautiful landscaping. What we as development and student affairs are aiming to do is to raise around $140,000 for the legacy plots themselves, as well as that 10th marker that you just saw and Jaron described. The great news that I have to share with you today is that we have already raised $60,000 for this project. That includes the $15,000, $5 from NPHC, $5 from Pan-Hellenic, and $5 from IFC, is in addition to $25,000 from a corporate donation and 2 pledges for $10,000 from 2 individuals that I'm going to introduce here in just a second. So really exciting news that we are off to a fantastic start. Now, with that being said, our vision is that part of our strategy will be to have a Divine 9 donor list that will celebrate 9 individuals that give at the $10,000 level. As I just mentioned, we've got 2 individuals that have already given, so we have 7 spots left for those $10,000 gifts. And one thing that I want to share with you is that those $10,000 gifts, that's not saying, hey, you got to write a $10,000 check today. That can be broken up over 3 years. It can be broken up by monthly payments. And so if you wanted to do it for 3 years, over 36 months, it would be about $278 a month to, again, chisel your name into this Legacy Plaza, which I think would be really special. And those individuals will be recognized on that marker that Jaron pointed out towards the end of his presentation. And so I want to encourage those of you that are interested, that want to talk through that. If you want to email me, I will put my email address in the chat. Also, if you wanted to just send a direct message to me and go in the chat and just send it directly to Peyton Alsabrook and just say, hey, I'm interested. That doesn't mean you're signing up to give me a $10,000 check. It's just, hey, I'm interested in having this conversation. It could be that you know other individuals that might be interested in supporting the plaza, which would be incredible. I'm happy to do the legwork and have those conversations. But again, I couldn't be more excited about this project, and I'm ready to get there to our $140,000 goal as soon as possible so that we can ensure not only that we get there and we have everything to build this beautiful plaza, but that we have extra money there as well so that we can continue to sustain it for years to come. With all of that being said, I am going to turn it over now to Regina Sanders and to Sonia Jenkins, who have both graciously given at the $10,000 level for this incredible plaza. And my last thing I will say before I sign off is that, as you notice, we have gotten ladies very involved early on. And so I need the fellas to step up because we've got AKA Delta Sigma Theta representation. Looking forward to hearing from some of the fellas as well so that we can kind of keep track of who's given the most, and again, all going towards this incredible Legacy Plaza. But with that, I'll turn it over to Regina. Thank you guys and have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Peyton. And first of all, I just want to say welcome and greetings to everyone on behalf of the Auburn Alumni Association. We're super excited that this group is participating in Black Alumni Weekend, and I know that yesterday was great, and tonight focusing on the Divine Nine makes it even better. So thank you so much, Erin, for all of your work and programming. So when I think about this project, it's really important. And Jaron said a lot of really good things about the importance, but whether you're Greek or not, I think that everyone recognizes the importance that the Divine Nine has on the Black community. So this Legacy Plaza is going to speak volumes for Auburn University. I know that it's been said in a lot of ways that Auburn has been a little bit passive when it comes to some of the major statements made in favor of African Americans as well as against racism. But I think that this is a huge step in the right direction. When I think about this plaza, I think about its importance being around education. Jaron talked about that, not only educating the students, but I also think educating the alums when they come back to campus and they see this Legacy Plaza in the position that it is in campus. People are going to walk up out of curiosity to want to understand, what is this? And this is our opportunity to be a mouthpiece for the importance of the Divine Nine, the important contributions that African Americans have made, as well as the contributions that we're making to Auburn University. So I am very excited about this. And when I was approached about being a donor, I was all in, because I think that, you know, you lead by example. And I think that there are several of you who are on this call who have given a lot to this university in the alumni capacity, as well as for your Greek letter organizations. And so I just want to encourage you. This is my soundbite for a friendly competition. We already have the best two sororities that have stepped up to the plate, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and Delta Sigma Theta. So I want to challenge all of us to give. You don't have to give $1,000. You can give $10. You can give $100. You can give $500. Whatever you can give, I want everyone who's on this call to tell someone else, as well as to reach inside your pockets to really contribute to this, because this is something that's going to be on campus for perpetuity. And to be a part of something this monumental on Auburn University's campus is going to speak volumes for you and your own legacy and what you're able to give to this university. So I'm appreciative of the opportunity. I'm thankful to be able to do so. And I just want to encourage all of you to do the same. And now I'm going to hand it over to Sonia.
Thanks, Regina, and War Eagle to everyone. There's not a whole lot left to be said, but just to encourage those who are on the call to recall the reasons why you joined your respective organizations. There was something about your chapters before you became a member that made you say, I'd like to become a member, fraternity or sorority. And I think for me, having arrived on Auburn's campus in the 80s, I think about it often. We were barely 20 plus years out of integration when I arrived on campus. And so to think that 10 years prior, 13 years prior to my coming, my chapter, the Kappa Epsilon chapter, which was chartered in 1974, they were only a decade out of integration, but still found the tenacity, found the fortitude to be able to just survive some very intense situations on the campus, but still charter organizations, same for the other Greek letter organizations, the Divine Nine, who did the same during that time. And what better way to honor their legacy than to continue it, to continue the conversations. It's a first step, I think, in many to come that will honor the Divine Nine and the contributions that we continue to make on campus. It was really a nice chart to see the places in leadership that we have on campus, and what better way to honor the leaders on campus and those that have paved the way before than this Legacy Plaza. I'll foot stomp what Regina has said. You know, we're all about competition now. So I would like to challenge the fraternities as well as the sororities once they, whether you have a chapter on campus right now or not, we could use your fundraising, if you don't have it, you know, $5, $10, it will make a difference. I mean, don't think your donation is too small. Like Regina said also, when I was first approached about it, I was all in, no questions asked. Again, I thought about the charter members of the Kappa Epsilon chapter back in 1974. I think about what Kappa Epsilon meant to me when I was a student on campus. When I didn't feel like I had a home, in air quotes, at Auburn, Kappa Upsilon was my home until I felt like Auburn was home. And so I don't know if that's your experience. That was my experience in the late 80s, early 90s. But I always felt like I had a home returning to the plains when it came to the chapter and the Greek life. So encourage you to be a participant, an active participant with your time, your talent, and your treasure for the Legacy Plaza. It is going to be an amazing opportunity to showcase the greatness that's happening at Auburn and with the Divine Nine. And thanks for the opportunity, Peyton.
Thanks so much to both of you guys. And I'm about to, or both of you ladies, I'm about to send across my email here momentarily through the chat. Many of you have reached out. I appreciate that. And Haven just mentioned that regarding the link, I do not have the giving link right now. I will work on that and get that sent across to Aaron to distribute. So thank you on that, Haven. And besides that, I will again just say, if you're interested, I'm always available. I'm happy to talk about it. We're very excited about this project. Also consider that corporate matches are a possibility too. If your employer offers that, that is something that you could use as well to help make this great project happen. Again, thanks so much to everyone, and I will now turn it over to Bernard to get us into our breakout rooms.
Thank you, Peyton. I don't think I've introduced myself, but my name is Bernard Goins, and I serve as the advisor for the National Pan-Hellenic Council here at Auburn University. We want to just thank everybody for those beautiful presentations. And we also want to kind of circle back because I skipped over one. Well, we happened to skip over a person, and we definitely don't want to do that. So I want to give Naja the opportunity to kind of give some acknowledgments before we get ready to move into our breakout room. And we also have a little bit of time built in for Q&A as well. So if you have any questions, start to formulate those, and you can drop those in the chat box. So we'll start answering them. And if you haven't updated or renamed yourself, please do that at this time, and make sure that you add your organization to when you rename yourself. And if you're not a part of the NPHC community, definitely put friend by there, because we have a lot of friends, and we definitely have something special planned for our friends as well. So Naja, if you'll unmute yourself, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Bernard. Good evening, everybody. My name is Naja Williams, and as Ronnie stated earlier, I am the Vice President of Administration, as well as the Vice President of Conduct and Recruitment for NPHC, and I am also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Thank you, everybody, for joining this event with NPHC, and I hope everyone enjoys themselves. First, I would like to acknowledge all and any members of the Board of Trustees, as well as the staff of Student Affairs. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge any past NPHC Executive Board members and advisors that we also have on the call, and I hope that everybody enjoys their breakout rooms.